Well, I'm John Farrell. I'm the director of the Energy Self-Reliant States and Communities program at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. Our major focus is to find ways for communities to capture the most of their economic and environmental resources. So when that comes to solar power, it's to find opportunities to maximize the development of solar and to maximize the economic benefits to the community of capturing that solar power. What I want to talk about tonight is kind of the international, if you will, solar fiesta, the explosion in the development of solar power across the world and across the country, and how that really is going to open up enormous opportunities in the state of Minnesota. A lot of people look at Minnesota and they think, well, it's cold and it's snowy. What's the prospect for solar power? And the truth is, there's an enormous prospect for solar. In a report we did last year called Energy Self-Reliant States, we found that 25% of Minnesota's electricity could come from rooftop solar installations alone. And that if you count all of the abundant open space we have and abundant sunshine, 100% of Minnesota's electricity could come from solar power, at least in terms of our technical potential. So what would that mean for the state? When you look at the cost of solar compared to our current electricity prices, even at the best costs, solar is still a little bit more expensive than, say, what we're used to paying on our electric bill. But when we factor in all the different values that solar can offer, it really changes the equation. For example, solar offers a lot of benefits to the electricity system that we don't often account for. That's in terms of being right next to where we use our electricity, right up on the roof, right in the field next door to the building. Solar allows us to get our electricity very close by and saves on those costs to the utility. It reduces stress on the electricity system because it often puts out electricity at those times when we need electricity the most, on those hot sunny days when everybody's air conditioner is turned on. And those are benefits that the utility is not really accustomed to paying for when they're interested in purchasing solar power, and those things need to be changed with policy. There are other benefits too, of course. For example, the 2003 blackout that affected most of the northeastern United States could have been prevented with just 500 megawatts of solar spread out throughout the region. Billions of dollars in economic losses from that blackout could have been prevented. So there are enormous potential for solar. Unfortunately, there are also a few barriers to solar power in Minnesota and across the country. These range from the limitations of the federal tax incentives, for schools or cities or counties. They're not able to use those incentives. Or even down at the local level, where permitting costs are becoming an increasingly large portion of a solar installation because the costs of solar are dropping so quickly, but cities and counties aren't accustomed to dealing with solar installations, and perhaps their permitting practices need to be updated. I'll cover all of these things in the presentation tonight, but the takeaway from the presentation is really that solar in Minnesota is an opportunity, an enormous opportunity for the state to pursue, both in terms of getting clean energy, but also as an economic opportunity.